Michael Everhart walked through the dark, dense woods as the icy, merciless rain smashed against his battered jacket. He was lost and confused, unsure of how he got to this abandoned location. The skeletal, fingers-like branches of the twisted trees that appeared to be reaching out to him were cast in strange, shifting shadows by his torch. Michael's breath misted in the cold air, his pulse thumping in his chest when he came across an overgrown path leading deeper into the forest. His mind was racing with images of home, warmth, and the company of his friends. How did he become separated from them while they were camping? Panic was nibbling at the boundaries of his rationality. He noticed a faint glow in the distance as he walked down the route. A derelict structure remained buried behind the twisting vines and towering trees. It appeared to be an abandoned asylum. Michael's curiosity overpowered his trepidation as he approached the structure with caution. The air around him became colder, the mist thicker, and there was a definite sense of doom in the air. The asylum's exterior was a bizarre jumble of crumbling brickwork and smashed glass, the shattered remains of a once mighty institution. Ornate rusting gates framed the entrance, their designs warped by time and neglect. Michael hesitated, but eventually pushed the creaky gates open and stepped into the frightening courtyard of the asylum. The asylum's interior was an eerie maze of crumbling corridors and shattered glass. Michael's flashlight's weak light revealed old wallpaper flaking away from the walls, exposing layers of buried memories. Rusted bed frames were twisted and shattered in several rooms, reminders of the life that had once lived here. Michael became increasingly conscious of a faint murmuring that seemed to dance just outside the limit of his hearing as he traveled farther inside the facility. It was as if the asylum's walls were trying to communicate with him, their secrets waiting to be revealed. Goosebumps pricked his skin, and a sense of fear settled over him. He discovered an old journal in one of the chambers, its pages yellowed and brittle with age. Michael leafed through it with attention, absorbing the horrible experiences of the asylum's patients and personnel. The stories told of madness, horrifically botched experiments, and the tormented cries of the forgotten souls who had once been imprisoned within these walls. As he continued his inspection, a shudder ran down his spine. In one of the basement rooms, he stumbled across a particularly awful scene, a collection of decomposing human organs kept in jars filled with a sickening green liquid. He was sickened by the stench of decay and the sight of the ghastly display. Michael retraced his steps, determined to flee this nightmare place, but the asylum appeared to move and twist around him, the passageways drawing him deeper into its center. Panic gripped him as he realized he was imprisoned, a helpless mouse trapped in his maze. After a few hours, he began to feel exhausted. The whispering in the walls became more intense and louder. He could almost hear voices crying for release and justice. The asylum seemed to come to life, with its grim past haunting every nook. Finally, Michael came into a room that looked to be filled with an alien aura. An enormous, beautiful mirror stood in the center of the room, its glass shattered and deformed. His reflection wavered in the shattered surface as he approached it. When he looked in the mirror, he saw the pained faces of those who had endured within the asylum's walls, not his own. Screams flooded the air as the spirits of the asylum's victims reached out for him, clawing at the mirror's surface with their ghostly hands. Michael shrieked in fear, his torch slipping from his shaking grip. He desperately tried to flee the chamber, but the door slammed shut, locking him with the enraged spirits. Michael realized he was doomed as the room filled with the agonizing cries of the damned. The asylum had taken him in, its malicious presence feeding on his misery and fear. He joined the countless others who had suffered within the asylum's dark grasp in that awful chamber. The rain continued to fall outside, washing away any traces of Michael Everhart and the abandoned asylum. The world was blissfully unaware of the horrors that lurked in the shadows, ready to ensnare the next lost person who wandered into their twisted dominion. The asylum stood as a monument to insanity and pain, a place where the ghosts of the past would haunt the living forever, a terrible reminder that some nightmares never truly end.